This is Nightline and I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan. News making the headlines. Combating financial crime. Prime Minister issues ultimatum to department heads and enforcement agencies. Step up or step aside. Also, FAM Executive Committee resigns en masse. AFC to take charge. Good morning. Step up or step aside within a week. This was the Prime Minister's ultimatum to the heads of departments and enforcement agencies tasked with combating financial crime. Take decisive action or step aside. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said he has lost patience after 3 years of witnessing persistent weaknesses and a culture of tolerance towards illicit activities like smuggling, which he said sometimes occurred with the consent of enforcement agencies. Speaking to agency heads at the Finance Ministry, the Prime Minister gave them 1 week to communicate if they were unable to carry out their duties.
Kalau saudara diamanahkan dan rasanya kurang mampu melaksanakan kerana cabaran terlalu besar dan ujian berat dan minat atau tarikan pelawaan terlalu menarik, saya syorkan dimaklumkan dalam tempoh seminggu ini kepada ketua-ketua atau kepada saya sendiri atau menteri ataupun peguam negara ataupun siapa, bagi tahu kita belum bersedia untuk mengambil langkah berani dan oleh itu beri laluan kepada orang lain. 1 minggu.
Anwar said this warning was necessary as he believed there were still significant weaknesses and gaps in the enforcement system that must be addressed immediately.
Saya sampai ke tahap hilang kesabaran dan merasakan masih ada kelemahan dan ruang yang wajib diperbaiki. Kita nak selamatkan negara ini.
The Prime Minister said the government's push to strengthen enforcement was driven by the need to protect the country's standing and meet public expectations for reform and justice. Now, Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar, said the Prime Minister's 1 week ultimatum sends a clear message. The government has zero tolerance for leakages and weak governance.
Maknanya kita kena make sure pematuhan kepada tata kelola dan memperkasakan governance. So pada tahun ini kita akan banyak membuat penguatkuasaan dan kita akan berteras rasuah, salah guna kuasa dan yang tidak mengikut peraturan.
The use of a single immigration clearance system at Malaysia's entry and exit points is expected to begin in the second quarter of this year. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said the National Integrated Immigration System, MyNICE, is currently undergoing trial implementation.
Setiap hari pasukan ini duduk, bermesyuarat, prepare checklist, go through kat mana ada gangguan, kat mana kita nak troubleshoot dan sebagainya. Every day, without fail. Maksudnya yang ini adalah satu projek utama dari segi reformasi pintu masuk negara.
The minister shared the update during a media luncheon talk in Cyberjaya on Wednesday. Meanwhile, authorities stressed that the changes do not involve the transfer or sharing of data that could compromise the integrity of user information. Year 1 enrollment for the 2027 academic session, including pupils aged 6, will be open from February 15th to March 31st this year. The registration process can be completed online via the Education Ministry's integrated system. In a statement, the ministry said registration would be open to Malaysian children in 2 age cohorts. 6-year-old pupils born between January 2nd and December 31st, 2021, and 7-year-old pupils born between January 2nd, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. The move is in line with the government's decision to allow 6-year-old children to enroll in Year 1 on a voluntary basis and without any screening tests starting next year. On Tuesday, the Prime Minister announced that the government had agreed not to implement diagnostic screening tests to determine admission into Year 1 as early as the age of 6 for the 2027 school session. The decision was made after considering concerns that such tests could have psychological effects and be discriminatory towards children. The Asian Football Confederation, AFC, will form a special team to help the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, review their internal management and administration following the collective resignation of the Exco Committee. AFC Secretary General Datuk Sri Windsor Paul John said the Confederation was invited into the process and was informed of the Exco's decision to step down. Windsor said the AFC team of AFC and FIFA-appointed consultants will be led by Assistant Secretary General Vahid Kardani, who will report their findings to stakeholders, particularly the FAM Congress. He also confirmed that during the interim period, FAM operations will continue under the Secretary General and Treasurer.
Having an election just because members have resigned does not help FAM, does not solve problems. So we thought before we have the elections, we also want to present to the Congress, look, this is what you need to do to become a better FAM. These are the changes in the structure of FAM. These are probably changes to the statutes, to become in line with FIFA and AFC. So those are the things that we need to do before we call for elections.
He also stressed there was no AFC-imposed time frame for the process. Windsor added that additional internal appointments would be made to support administration and work alongside AFC, with the temporary arrangement to be presented to the Congress. On another matter, Windsor said that the FAM expects to hear the Court of Arbitration for Sports, or CAS, verdict on its appeal against FIFA sanctions as early as February 25th. He added the CAS assessed the application under Article R37 of its code, which requires 3 criteria to be satisfied.
The first one is that they have to showcase that orang yang parti itu, they will suffer harm, irreparable harm jika keputusan masih tidak diambil sekarang. Maknanya dia akan rugi besar. The second criteria is the benefit of the person who is asking for the appeal outweighs the benefit of the person on the other side.
The stay ruling allows the 7 mixed heritage players to resume playing with immediate effect while awaiting the CAS's final verdict on their appeal. Malaysia's football governing body faces a major leadership reset after the FAM confirmed that all members of its Exco have resigned with immediate effect. Speaking after a special meeting on Wednesday, former Deputy President Datuk Yusof Mahadi said the decision was made collectively and unanimously as a matter of principle.
Itulah yang dapatan yang kita dapat tadi, dan semua Exco sebelah suara. Itu yang boleh saya katakan satu komitmen bersepadu lah. Maknanya kita sebelah suara. Tak ada seorang pun yang tidak bersetuju. Maknanya mereka semua memikirkan kepentingan bola sepak itu ataupun FM itu atas segala-galanya.
He added that public trust and support were key considerations behind the move. The mass resignation is expected to allow investigations and internal processes to continue without interference while clearing the way for new measures to be implemented smoothly. The government is considering new provisions under the Penal Code to criminalize the misuse of artificial intelligence. This is due to the increasing complexity of crime in the digital era, including cyber fraud and deepfake manipulation, which remains a challenge for legal frameworks designed for a different era.
Because a lot of people, if they want to invest in Malaysia and then they see if the laws are not at to par to the changes of the world, people will be very worried about the justice system.
Now go to the next.
Azalina added that the scope of legal reform is not limited to the Legal Affairs Division, but is cross-ministerial and aligns Malaysia with global best practices seen in the UK, Australia, Singapore and the EU. She also stressed that the reforms are part of broader legal discussions covering both criminal and civil law, as well as contracts and digital transactions, reflecting the growing role of technology in governance, commerce and banking. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry is drafting new regulations to enable action against owners of foreign registered vehicles that purchase RON 95 petrol. Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat, Datuk Armizan Muhammad Ali said the ministry is targeting the new regulation to be finalised and enforced from April 1st.
Melalui peraturan baru yang sedang kita rangka ini di bawah Seksyen 6 Akta Kawalan Bekalan ini, larangan itu akan bukan hanya melibatkan penjualan tetapi juga pembelian. Maksudnya mereka yang membeli, pemilik ataupun pemandu yang menggunakan kenderaan pendaftaran asing juga boleh dikenakan tindakan.
The minister explained that existing legal provisions apply only to the sale of subsidized fuel, which means action can only be taken against petrol stations and not against the owners or buyers using foreign registered vehicles. Armizan added that the ministry is currently conducting engagement sessions with stakeholders ahead of the introduction of the new regulations. In Negeri Sembilan, 10 detainees were injured after the prison transport vehicle they were travelling in overturned at a traffic light junction near Rembau on Wednesday. Deputy District Police Chief, Deputy Superintendent Azmi Ali said the incident occurred along Jalan Seremban Tampin at about 9:40 a.m. while the vehicle was travelling from Seremban Prison to Rembau Court. The detainees, accompanied by 5 escorting officers, were on their way to court when the vehicle skidded and overturned while making a right turn at the junction. 4 detainees sustained injuries, while 6 others suffered minor injuries. Police personnel from the escort unit and traffic division were deployed to the scene to assist and manage the situation. The 4 detainees with injuries were taken to the Rembau hospital by ambulance under police escort, while the other 6 were transported in a separate vehicle accompanied by police officers. The ringgit jumped to a 7-year high to close at 3.9175 versus the US dollar on Wednesday from the previous day's close of 3.9500. As improved risk sentiment and a softer greenback continued to support the local currency, which rose for the 3rd consecutive day this week. It was the strongest closing level since it hit 3.9150 in April 2018. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid said the ringgit's rise has been underpinned by growing expectations that the US Federal Reserve may adopt a more accommodative policy stance following recent signs of economic moderation in the United States. He said weaker US economic indicators, particularly the January consumer confidence data, have reinforced expectations that the Federal Open Market Committee meeting could deliver a more dovish policy tone. This could provide room for emerging market currencies, including the ringgit, to strengthen further in the near term.
Trade hits 3 trillion ringgit and GDP exceeds forecasts. What does this mean for growth? How will fiscal and subsidy reform support this momentum? Which spending matters most? Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah speaks with MIER Executive Director Tan Sri Sulaiman Mahbub only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Malaysia's exports in December 2025 increased by 10.4% year-on-year, reaching 153 billion ringgit compared with the same month in 2024. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, the increase was driven mainly by stronger export performance in key manufacturing states. Johor recorded the largest growth, rising 9.4 billion ringgit, followed by Pulau Pinang with an increase of 8.6 billion ringgit. Perak and Selangor also posted modest export gains during the month. However, several states recorded declines in exports, led by Sarawak with a drop of 1.1 billion ringgit, followed by Sabah and Terengganu. Pulau Pinang remained Malaysia's largest exporter, accounting for 40.1% of total exports, followed by Johor at 22.5% and Selangor at 14.7%. Trio finally charged with organised crime. More from the home front after this breather.
Adik-adik dah bersedia? Kerana dunia kartun akan meletup.
2 tickets, please.
You're gonna have fun!
So excited.
Cepat-cepat, jom tonton Tun sekarang.
Saya rasa it was a very intense film. Betapa susah, betapa besarnya ujian saudara-saudara dekat Gaza lah.
Yang undang-undang tu memang kita tak boleh terima lah. Kau bom, kita nak selamatkan orang yang kau dah bom tu, kita kena minta permission kau juga. Itulah dia kan. Memang sangat tak okey lah tu.
Jangan lupa sama-sama kita pergi support, saksikan filem The Voice of Fin Rajab.
Filem ni suara orang-orang Palestin.
Terbaru ditonton.
Cik Rashid, kenalkan akun kami Laila dan Amina.
Bos rasa Lemina share tu betul-betul genuine ke?
Diorang ada sesuatu yang interesting.
Kadang-kadang dalam hidup ni kan Amina, bila nak jadi baik, kita kena berlakon jadi baik.
Laila mula sedar untuk senang dapat duit bila menggunakan simpati dan agama.
Sekarang aku baru faham. Tapi takkan tak ada orang kampung yang kenal dia. Dia kan famous kan.
Muat turun dan layan tonton sekarang. Semua favourite anda di sini.
Awak netizen.
Okey, panas guys.
Kenapa
panas?
Bersangka buruk dia sudah baik.
Kutuk-kutuk depan sini. Duduk kongkong tu. Jangan main fitnah je netizen.
Tak saya yang marah, orang lain yang marah kan.
Gaduh.
Tak, bukan.
Panas. Wah, deng. Jangan lupa saksikan Melodi setiap hari Khamis pukul 9 malam di TV3.
Dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Pengorbanan dan konflik keluarga bersatu dalam kisah-kisah yang penuh emosi. Misi penculikan cinta.
Cinta Farhani?
Kerana terpaksa, aku relakan.
Who are you?
Kakak.
Itu je yang kami adik-beradik boleh tolong.
Karlisa.
Adik!
Bukan wanita sempurna.
Nampak lain.
Hanya di slot wayang setiap Jumaat 1 hari di TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton. Air mata pilu dan gelak tawa sepanjang Januari ini. Nadi Luna. Tanam apa tu Bang Haji?
Macam cerita Korea pula.
Kesempatan kedua.
Ada ribut, ada tiba-tiba bertunang dengan Mak Nepal.
Husin pening lah.
Husin tengah pening ni.
Cermin kasih.
Anak penghuni hanya dibenarkan tinggal bersama ibunya sehingga umur 3 tahun.
Kisah penuh rasa, cerita pilihan setiap Sabtu 2 petang di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
Welcome back. Authorities have uncovered an attempt to smuggle 125 tons of electronic waste through 5 shipping containers at Port Klang. It was discovered that 2 of the containers had entered Malaysia 2 years ago and remained unclaimed. The seizure, carried out early on Tuesday, was conducted by the Border Control and Protection Agency, MCBA. Investigations found that 2 containers were filled with used electronic items, including printers and dismantled computer equipment. 2 more containers contained crushed electrical cables, while 1 container was found to be carrying industrial waste. All 5 containers were brought into the country using false cargo declarations, with records traced to 2024, 2025 and as recently as last Saturday.
2 lagi kontainer datang daripada Los Angeles and Valencia, Spanyol. Okay, apa dia declare? Aluminum alloy. False declaration.
Further inspections also revealed that 1 container was not listed in the customs information system, indicating that it was never officially declared upon entry into the country. 3 men believed to be linked to the Captain Prabha gang were charged in the Sepang Sessions Court on Wednesday with being members of an organised criminal group. No plea was recorded and the case was transferred to the Shah Alam High Court. Navindran Raj Kumarasan, Pratif Kumar Selvaraj and Sri Dharan Subramaniam, aged between 30 and 38, are alleged to have committed the offence at an oil palm plantation in Jenjarum, Kuala Langat between December 2023 and September 11, 2025. The charge was framed under Section 130V1 of the Penal Code. The court did not grant bail as the accused are being detained under the Security Offences Special Measures Act, or SOSMA. The trio, listed as wanted criminals, were denied entry into the United Kingdom and later detained by Indian authorities after acting violently at Mumbai International Airport last Sunday. They arrived at Kuala Lumpur International Airport early Wednesday morning after being deported from Mumbai and were escorted under tight police security to the Sepang District Headquarters at 8:33 a.m. for documentation. Meanwhile, Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Dato' M. Kumar said the trio were arrested under an arrest warrant issued by the Sepang Sessions Court on January 14th. The men were identified as key targets under Ops Jack Sparrow, a major police operation launched last September, which led to the arrest of 17 secret society members across Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Pulau Pinang and Perak. The group, believed active since 2023, reportedly comprised 33 members, led by an individual known as Captain Prabha. Suspects aged between 19 and 44 are believed to have been involved in violent crimes, including murder, armed attacks, gang robbery and arson. In a related development, Malaysian Border Control and Protection Agency, MCBA, Director General Datuk Seri Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain, when contacted, believed the 3 accused fled the country using fake passports or so-called red lanes.
Kemungkinan besar mereka keluar menggunakan jalan-jalan tikus mungkin ada, dan sekiranya pihak PDRM setelah siasatan mereka sempurna, mendedahkan bahawa adanya salah guna di mana-mana juga pintu masuk negara, saya memang tak teragak langsung untuk mengambil tindakan disiplin maupun undang-undang ke atas mana-mana pegawai yang terlibat.
The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has secured remand orders for 5 individuals to assist investigations into alleged corruption involving the appointment of crony-linked companies associated with a senior Royal Malaysian Navy officer. The remand orders were issued at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court by Magistrate Ezrin Zakaria. Those remanded are believed to be company directors, managers and business owners linked to the companies that allegedly obtained contracts at the Lumut Naval Base. 1 suspect was remanded for 3 days until January 30th, while 4 others were remanded until January 31st. MACC Intelligence Division Senior Director Datuk Saiful Ezral Arifin confirmed the arrest and said investigations are ongoing. This follows the arrest of a company director and a senior Navy officer on suspicion of corruption related to the appointment of a crony company to obtain quotation work at the officer's workplace. Spreading out of control with air quality severely affected. The details when Nightline returns.
2025 dah habis. Jom kita tengok 2026.
Hubungan kita bukan betul pun. So apa? Main-main je. Awak bukan sayang saya pun kan?
Aku tak payah nak ambil tahu pasal hidup orang ni. Yang kau nak panas ni asal.
Dia pandai tau. Dia pandai malu.
Kalau nak nasihat, nasihat dengan hati. Kenalkan Nur, orang penting dalam hidup Ab.
Sampai bila abang nak tidur bawah ni? Kalau abang takut, Aira boleh tidur dekat tengah.
Abang risau belakang saya yang sakit.
Kau dah cakap sangat pasal mak aku kan? Kau cakap depan biji mata aku lah.
Saya layan awak macam sampah. Tapi awak layan saya macam princess.
Walau sampai detik yang saya ada separuh nafas, saya tetap akan cintakan awak.
Mak, tak perasan ke? Ha? Muka dia tu macam tak suka kita datang.
Malam kau pergi mana? Aku call kau tak angkat. Message pun kau tak baca.
Tapi, walaupun kerja macam tu, diorang yolek tau.
Kalau bos nak, saya boleh tolong carikan kawan bos tu. Sorry Cik Farah, saya nak pergi kat kereta ambil barang je.
Every time I see.
Kau tak buat muka dia lagi apa aku tak dapat.
Aku tak faham lah. Kenapa kau suruh aku tipu kita tu?
Saya ingin mengucapkan
Selamat Tahun Baru.
Selamat Tahun Baru. Selamat Tahun Baru 2026 kepada semua penonton TV3.
Dan juga tonton. Al-Quran sering mengingatkan kita untuk menjaga orang miskin, mereka yang memerlukan dan anak-anak yatim. Berapa jumlah yang diperlukan?
450,000 untuk kos pembedahan dan pendidikan anak-anak.
Kasih sangat atas pertolongan hari itu. Dapat bayar yuran-yuran sekolah anak-anak asnaf semua sekali.
1, 2, 3.
Sini Kak, lakonan Mina.
terbaik.
135,000 dalam 48 jam.
I nak cuci duit, you ada tempat untuk I cuci duit.
Duit dana tak dapat sepenuhnya.
Saya nak membersihkan ruang amal dan derma ni daripada penipuan.
Hari pergi mana Kak? Satu Malaysia kenal kita sekarang ni. Muka kita dekat TV, dekat social media. Semua orang dah anggap kita ni penjenayah.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton. Welcome back to the foreign front. There will be no negotiations between the United States and Iran if Washington continues to threaten the Middle Eastern country. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the United States must set aside threats, excessive demands and illogical issues for talks to take place. Abbas added that he had no contact with U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and that Iran has not sought negotiations in recent days. On Tuesday, Washington announced it will conduct a major multi-day Air Force exercise in the Middle East amid rising tensions over Iran's crackdown on anti-government demonstrations. The U.S. Central Command said a strike group led by the USS Abraham Lincoln has arrived in Middle Eastern waters, reportedly accompanied by 3 guided missile destroyers. In Thailand, a massive fire has burned through more than 3,200 hectares of rice fields and farmland in Nakhon Nayok, northeast of Bangkok. The blaze released billows of smoke, worsening air quality across multiple provinces. According to local authorities, the fire was caused by the burning of agricultural waste to prepare land for the next crop, but it quickly spread out of control. Hundreds of firefighters, volunteers, local officials and troops were deployed to contain the blaze, which was brought under control late Tuesday night. District police said they will identify and take action against those responsible, adding that farmers and residents have been warned not to burn agricultural waste or garbage during the dry season. A top Indian politician, along with 4 others, was killed after an aircraft crashed in the western state of Maharashtra. In the fatal incident on Wednesday, Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar died when the plane he was travelling in crashed in an open field at around 8:30 a.m. local time. The Bombardier Learjet 45 aircraft went down while attempting to land at Baramati Airport. The 66-year-old politician was travelling with his personal security officer, an assistant and 2 crew members at the time of the crash. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his condolences over the tragedy, describing the incident as shocking and saddening. Switching to sports now, football, the SHOP ASEAN Club Championships. Faisal Halim produced a captain's innings after scoring 2 goals to help Selangor beat Vietnamese side Chong An Hanoi 2-0 in their Group A clash on Wednesday night. The 28-year-old broke the deadlock in the 59th minute when he capitalized on a loose save from Philip Nguyen, who thwarted Cape Verdean winger Alvin Fortes' shot. Faisal then got his second in the 68th minute with a stinging drive from outside the box after receiving a pass from French midfielder Hugo Boumers. With the 2-0 win, Selangor are now top of the group with 8 points from 4 games, a point ahead of second place Thai club BG Pathum United. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at the Up Heli AA Festival in Lerwick, United Kingdom, where 1,000 members of a Jarl squad or a group of Vikings throw their torches to set fire to their Viking galley longship. The gathering celebrates Scandinavian influence in the Shetland Islands. With that, I'm Muhammed. Thanks for watching and stay safe.